Well, here's the very familiar figure of Kyran Bracken, former rugby star, current ice skating star. We're here at Elstree at the practice rink. You've been here training for Sunday's show. You're still in, and it's going well.
Well, I'll say I'm still in by my fingertips. I had a skate off at the weekend and last weekend against our Abrahams, and I felt, really it was a close call because we both skated really well. Disappointed I didn't get the votes from all my rugby followers because I suppose it's quite a long time since I played for England, quite a long time since my rugby days, but plenty of life left in me at 42, trying to keep up with these young lads and really enjoying it. And it actually felt like I don't know, like a knockout final rugby match where I had to come up with the goods, and thankfully it was all right on the day. But it's quite nice being involved in a competition because that's something you really miss having retired. You know, watching the boys now going off to France, thinking what they're thinking, the pressure's on. You know, and for me, it's in the ice skating at the moment. I'm loving every bit of it, just competing and doing my best and battling through. And I wonder which players of the England current team are going to be skating in 10 years' time. Be interesting, I don't know.
Who knows? The irony is, despite the fact you're a World Cup winner, you've captained England 3 times, 3 wins, I believe. You were extremely successful professional rugby player. There's a whole new wave of people in this country who know you far more for your ice skating.
Yeah, my kids, I think when they have to write down at school what their daddy does, they say daddy's an ice skater. It's rather embarrassing, but the good thing is that elder generation, shall I say, recognise me from talk about rugby, but it is embarrassing when I go to Twickenham because the generation gap, you see 3 generations, 4 generations of people, and you'll see the granddad say, "Oh, I watch you play, you know, against the All Blacks," and the kid will look at me and say, "Are you on that TV show, Strictly Come Ice Skating or something?" They get it completely wrong. So, well, I don't mind, you know. It's great to be still involved in rugby and watching, and now in the ice show, and it's the last ever one. So I'm very fortunate to be involved in the last ever series.
The funny thing is, although you do keep your hand in rugby still, and we'll talk about that in a second, actually you've been doing sort of more in terms of skating post-rugby career than you have actually from your previous sport. You've had your own show, obviously you starred in your first appearance on Dancing on Ice, and here you are again. So it's ironic that this second sport for you has actually served you very well, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. A lot of people go straight into rugby, having left as a player, they go into coaching, and then they just go along that long journey of learning to be a good coach. I've carried on coaching, but in a very small capacity, just skills, a bit Saracens, and then latterly with Harlequins, a bit at Leicester with Ben Youngs. But I really do enjoy passing on that knowledge. I think scrum half is an untapped coach's sort of requirement, because you look at the kids coming through and it's much more about building them up to be powerful, strong, fast, and the skills are almost left behind, which is something that was very important in my day and before in the amateur days was crucial. I still think that the level of coaching of scrum halves is very poor. A lot of teams have a hooker coach teaching them to throw in, but remember the hookers throw the ball in between 7 and 11 times in a match, and yes, it is very important, but a scrum half passes the ball 60, 70 times, and a few other players 4 or 5 times. So it is sort of, I think it's something that will become much more coached in years to come, and I'm very pleased to be involved with quite a few players over the last few years.
Now we'll get on to the Six Nations in just a second, but you've got a show Sunday night, obviously. Any ideas what you're going to do, and how far can you go now?
This Sunday I'm skating in a duel against Sam Atwater, who won the series 6 years, 7 years or 5 years ago. Good skater. We're doing Michael Jackson and we'll beat it. Then if I lose that skate off, I then skate off in the main in the main show for just public vote. I'm guessing I probably won't get that, judging on last week, so then I have to skate off in the final, in the last, against one of the other 3 losers. So it's going to be a long drawn out night, I have to be very focused, and potentially I could end up doing 3 skates and going home.
Knockout ice skating, like cup ice skating for you.
Ice skating, that's what it is.
You're used to that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm used to it, yeah.
And tell me, as somebody who obviously had to be extremely fit, and you had so many operations and injuries as every rugby player does, particularly on your back, how does this compare to rugby? For those who don't know, don't understand, how physically demanding is it to do this?
It is physically demanding, but more so in an anaerobic sense, which is sort of quite similar to rugby anyway. The power that you need for certain lifts is obviously important. The stamina you need for 1.5–2 minutes performance. But where sport has served me really well is preparing to do the routine in the moment. What I'm not used to, and that, you know, obviously I'm not very, I suppose, aesthetically pleasing on the ice because I'm sort of bigger than the rest and the others. I'm sort of wide, squat, so every sort of movement looks doesn't look very loose like the others because they're all stage actors and they've got all of that DNA inside them. But the sport is definitely helping me preparing to be the best I can. But there's nothing can prepare you for wearing the sparkles, having the fake tan, wearing the lycra, and trying to present to the audience, to the camera. That's something very new to me. But certainly as a sportsman, I know how to prepare.
Okay, so that's Sunday night sorted out. Saturday night, you'll be watching France v England, I no doubt, would assume.
Well, Saturday I'm really excited because there's a feeling of, I suppose, it's a feeling of trepidation, anxious in the hope that England play well and win. And the big question everyone's asking, all the journalists and all the players are even thinking is, who are they going to face? Who are England going to face at the weekend? I definitely know what France are going to face. They're going to face, I think, a pack now that is comparable to some of the best packs in the world. We're going back to basics, really. We've got some big old boys now. We've got a back row who can handle the ball as well and steal ball. We've got a great captain, I think, in Rob Shaw. I think now that Danny's at 9, I think the ball's going to move around a bit more. The question is how will Owen play? Is he going to play quite deep? The question mark is over the back line. No one knows how it's going to perform. Are we going to get the 12-13 channel right? So we'll see. There's some new boys come in. It's quite exciting. I think England will be very organised and very structured in how they go about it. And I think that will stand them in good stead because I think the French have big problems, and it stems from the fact that the clubs now are investing heavily in non-French players. The Welsh, the Irish, the Scots, the English, the Antipodeans, they're all flooding it now for big money. And they've got serious problems, in my view, at halfback, 9 and 10, which is crucial to any team. I really don't think they know what they're doing. They swap and change all the time. The biggest problem is kicking for goal. Who's kicking for goal? Is it their 9? Is it their 10? Who is it? Generally speaking, in France, for the club rugby, the packs are so strong and formidable that teams like Saracens are even struggling over there. However, when this French team form a French pack, it's not the same.
Sure.
And I don't know why, and I'm questioning whether it's because of the foreign influence means that one or two of these players aren't getting enough rugby, or they don't seem to come together very well. For them, maybe for the French, when they play for France, it's like playing for an away team. They're so comfortable in their environment for their clubs. They know where they get changed, they know the coach, they know the format, they know everything. And when they suddenly come along to their coach, Philippe Saint-André, you know, they don't feel comfortable in what they're trying to do because they have the ability, they just don't have the cohesion yet.
Okay, 2 predictions. Who's going to win in Paris, and will we see you a week on Sunday in Dancing on Ice?
Prediction I have of Saturday, I believe that with England's kicking and more organised team, I think England will beat France. But I think France might win the Six Nations. Sunday, I've no idea. And I'm hoping this goes out before then and people vote. So if you vote, then I should be alright.
It will, and good luck.